Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel for another Game Week 4 preview. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah, who has already made 3 free transfers for the upcoming week. Abdul, green arrow last week, 3 transfers made pretty early for this week. How are you doing? How is the team looking?
It was looking a lot better than it was before anyway. So yeah, I had these transfers kind of pre-planned from Game Week 2 anyway. So yeah, I decided to go early because I had the 3 free transfers. I was quite certain about the moves, and obviously we know with the wild card as well. I thought if all goes wrong, I can wild card, and I'll still have the 3 free transfers going to Game Week 5. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay, here's the team on screen. And this is before any transfers have been made.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, obviously you had 0 million in the bank because you spent 100 million when you first started, obviously. So this team probably is not going to be affordable now when we do this, but that is because obviously we don't have live, we can't go back in time and do the transfers with the previous prices. So I think let's just get into it. Before you reveal all the transfers, maybe just a little bit of the reasoning where the pain points were in your team and why you felt like you had to move early.
Yeah, I had quite a few issues. As you know, I had Quansah, I had Nkunku. Those were my main issues. And I just thought with me wildcarding in game week 6, I mean, is there going to be much kind of value in me taking out Quansah for like, a Robinson or a Rico Lewis? I mean, I guess Luke Lewis probably has the most upside, but I just thought the transfers were best used to kind of chase a bit of upside.
Okay.
In that process, taking out Nkunku, which I thought was a bigger problem than in Quansah, because Quansah is a 4.5 defender who can just sit on the bench, whereas Nkunku is a bit more expensive, and I could probably use those funds. So that was the main reasoning of those were the 2 main weak points, and I just thought I had to kind of do something a bit more aggressive, I guess, because I'm wildcard in game week 6 and just kind of chase these next two fixtures.
Oof. You are interesting me with how you're talking at the moment. I can try and guess who. So have you done how many moves have you done?
Yeah, I've made 3.
You did all 3. And Kunku's gone,
Yeah.
and you've said you've gone aggressive. Okay, let me try and work this out. I reckon that you have definitely got Salah in your team. I'd be shocked if you haven't done that. So I'm just gonna do that now for Nkunku. Obviously, that needs to be funded, guys. Get in the comments down below. Try and guess before it's revealed what Abdul's done. All right, so Salah's come in. I'm sure that I think you would have had to find a way to. I think Saka would have probably gone. I think that's the easiest way of funding it. So I reckon Saka's gone. I'm prepared to be wrong here. For a midfielder, I mean that could be anyone, and then Armstrong's still there as well. Actually,
I forgot about Armstrong. Actually, yeah, that's another fire. But I just thought I had bigger fires basically. So yeah,
right.
he's
Well,
still there. I'll give you a clue. Armstrong's still in there.
Armstrong's still there. Then I think it has to be. I think it has to be João Pedro in for Isak. I don't see anyone else that you might have. I mean, you could have sold Bruno. I don't think you would have done, which then leaves maybe at 6.5 at the time for a midfielder. And I in the back of my mind, I was hoping you've gone for a Brighton double up. So I reckon you might have gone for a Brighton double up. It's whether you had enough money for Mitoma or you went to MINTEH, but I'll go with Mitoma, assuming you had the cash for it.
So close, man. I'm really impressed by that, Jack, man. The way you just dissected that. But
What was it?
yeah, so I've done Isaac to Pedro, correct. Saka to Salah, and I went Nkunku to MINTEH.
I was MINTEH. Okay.
It was MINTEH, yeah. I just
Fair
thought
enough.
like Mitoma is probably the sensible move when you're looking at minutes. And that, but I just thought MINTEH, I've been watching him play and I just love him as a player, and I just think he has a big haul in him. And if I'm just doing it for the next 2 weeks, I mean, if it was more like a longer horizon, I guess I would have gone Mitoma, but next 2 weeks, you've got to add a bit of spice to that. So I just went for MINTEH, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think by saying you were going aggressive, I think it was yeah. I was pretty confident you're going for the Brighton double up, and it's very hard to ignore those two. You've got to think now, and I know you're at not an amazing rank that you'd obviously want to be at this time in the season, but that is such a good differential to have in your team. That the upside there, as you said, is completely huge, right?
Yeah. And look, the main reason I kind of went for those moves, right, was because like taking out Saka and Isaac is, it's risky, of course, right? It's like, it could easily backfire. Spurs, Saka could do well there, and Wolves is actually like a really good fixture for for Isaac. But I just think with Liverpool having Forest and Bournemouth up next home, and then Brighton having Ipswich and Forest at home. Like that's two. It's basically two home fixtures for the players who've bought in against two away fixtures for the players who've taken out. So I just think it's a risk worth taking on.
No, that makes
And
complete sense.
I'm bringing in Salah, who's also going to be the best captain option, say for Game Week 5 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking ahead to your team for Game Week 5, looks pretty strong, of course. And yeah, you've got Salah in there, best captain. Ideally, would you then be looking to, I mean, your team looks really good. Would you then be looking to roll and then wildcard in 6?
Yeah, so the plan is hopefully I could just roll it up until Game Week 6, my wild card, and then I can, come out the wild card with 2 free transfers. So that's the ideal scenario, which I'm hoping to achieve. So yeah, that would be the plan. And if I can get to that, I'd be like, more than happy because then I'd be in a really strong position kind of after the wild card.
We'll speak next week about whether or not Armstrong might play in in Game Week 5 because it's a very good fixture. That is going to be a deliberation, but we'll come to that next week.
Yeah, and the
course.
thing is with Armstrong as well, like I probably did like he is a transfer waiting to happen, but like given that Man U fixture, he might start, he might do well, and then that ends him a start for Ipswich. Who knows? So yeah, I think it's worth holding him. I thought it was worth holding him for that Ipswich fixture, and that's why I thought kind of Nkunku was the bigger fire because I don't see him starting anytime soon.
No, yeah, normally I don't know what you think about this, but I think that in general, sort of seasoned veteran managers would say a lot of the time sort out the biggest problem in your team first, before moving on to like look at the fires in your team and make sure they're dealt with before moving on to sort of more luxury transfers. But yeah, you've completely left Kwanzaa alone because you don't need like it's not a move that you need to do. There's no real upside there in getting rid of him before Game Week 6. Obviously, he's not going to be on your Game Week 6 wildcard. But I like it. It's very aggressive. Yeah. And yeah, with Armstrong still there, if you do get an injury to one of your front 7, you don't necessarily need to make a transfer there and you can just roll.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. I mean, that's what I'd usually do. Like, get rid of your fires, your injured players. I think that's definitely, what I do 99% of the time. But I just thought like every situation is unique. And I just thought in this situation, I couldn't really, get somebody I really wanted for Kwanzaa. And to be honest, I was a bit kind of like surprised by how aggressive the price changes were. If I had known that like kind of pre-Game Week 1, I would have, took out Kwanzaa in Game Week 1 for like, either Lewis or Robinson, like most people done, and probably done Nkunku out as well. But I just thought, I could maybe just hold them and, take them out, for the free transfers in Game Week 4. But then I wasn't expecting, the price sizes to be so aggressive. So things have changed a little bit this season, I think, in terms of early transfers and that as well, and with the building up the transfers also. But yeah, I mean, normally that's what I would advise as well. Get rid of the fires in your team. But I just think in my situation, I just thought it was better to go for this scenario, and then get rid of Kwanzaa and all the deadwood in my Game Week 6 wildcard.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Kwanzaa on the hub's price change predictions.
Yeah,
he may well drop again in price.
Yeah, he's been on the kind of periphery for dropping for the last few days, and I just hope I can. I mean, I think he'll definitely drop at least once before I get rid of him. On the wild card. So I've just got to accept that.
Yeah.
I believe that wasn't the best decision keeping him. I think it was a mistake holding on to him actually, and I'll learn from it.
Yeah, it's a tough one because normally you'd say like just have patience.
Yeah.
Don't make transfers that you don't need to just because of price changes. Maybe the game is changing now. I don't. This is the one thing that I do not like about the game is that there is no transparency with the prices, and we have to use third parties. I don't think that should be part of the game. That's probably a debate for another time or another video. But if this is going to be the case in future, maybe even continuing on this season where price changes are so I don't know, volatile and yeah, much more aggressive than we think. Whether that's down to FPL changing the limits or what you need to get to for a price increase or decrease, or it's just the fact that there are more active managers that are being aggressive with early transfers now. Will that change your playstyle going forward?
You know what? It's a tough one. Probably would, because if you're like, I think if your player's going to be dropping 0.2 instead of like, instead of 0 or 0.1. Like, usually they would take longer with the price drops. I don't know if maybe the first few weeks was an anomaly, and it was just generally managers, because at the start of the season, that's when we get the most engagement. And it was managers making those transfers, or whether the FPL towers have tweaked the algorithm a little bit to make the price drops more frequent. I don't know. So I guess we'll see as the season progresses. But if it is, then I think possibly, yeah. I think it will kind of push players into making earlier transfers, and it probably would kind of I say push me down that path as well.
Okay, makes complete sense. Okay, let's open this up a little bit for a more general discussion, not specific to your team. Obviously, this is going to be pertinent for everyone watching. Maybe some players to target from different positions, whether you're on a wild card or not. Just in general, a lot of managers out there probably do still have some problem players. I mean, I know you've got rid of one of them there, but if you've still got Kwanzaa, for example, and you need to sell him. Maybe an Armstrong as well, and Kunku, maybe even a Solanke if you're still holding on to him. Let's just go through from goalkeepers to the forwards, players to target who you think might be the best options over the next 4 or 5 game weeks. Yeah. Again, not chip dependent.
Yeah, I mean, I think goalkeepers will just skip because I don't see any like kind of big targets here. But I think for defenders, I'd be looking at Liverpool and Brighton. I think whether you've got Trent already or not, I think Trent is probably the one you look to get in. But then I would definitely be looking at a double up in the Liverpool defence with Robbo. I think that's a really good move, whether you're on a wild card or not, because Liverpool's fixtures, the next 2 are great, and just going forward, I think it's good to have at least I think 3 Liverpool players in their teams. Brighton's next 2 are great. Like, look, they've got. As I said, we've got Ipswich and Forest next, and if you bring in the likes of Dunk, he's a 4.5 million defender, so you can bench him for his tough fixtures that are coming up. And Brighton do look good defensively as well. I mean, the new manager, apart from his old clubs, has been really good defensively, and the way he kind of shapes up. And it's looking like that's kind of translating into Brighton's like clean sheet prospects this season as well. They have looked good, both going forward and at the back. So they'd be definitely the 2 I'd be targeting in defence. Going forward in midfield, I think my top target, like for this week, if you don't have him, would be Eze. I think he's I think he's a season hold. Like, I think he's
wow.
Well, I mean, nobody's really like a season holder, right?
No, but as much as you can be, as much as you can be.
He's like that glue guy. Wow. He's 6.9 million now, right? Which he was already cheap at 7 million. Leicester at home next, and then I just think the fixtures over the next, like, kind of 7-8 game weeks are good, and I just think he's just such a talisman for them. He's on penalties, he's nailed for 90 minutes, and he's just like so good value. So I think Eze's definitely one I'd be, if you don't have Eze, I think he'd probably be my top target in midfield.
It's crazy, like, just how well he must be doing on the data, because his predicted points are so high here. I mean, look at who he's rivaling. He's ahead of De Bruyne over the next 4, ahead of Son. Yeah. It's insane, and just now 6 point. I mean, I'm jealous of the fact that he dropped, and some managers who didn't start on him, which they would admit was a mistake, have now got him for cheaper than what we got him for. But
that's really annoying. On a smaller note, that's quite annoying, because like he could have got a haul in game week 1 with that free kick as well, and it was just. But yeah, I mean, look, as a great player, and I think he's going to do really well over the season.
I cannot believe that he's 1 point behind Saka in predicted points over the next 4 games. It's crazy. But yeah, clearly that just shows what a good option is. What a good option he is. And then I guess actually, I'll ask you about budget midfielders as well, because there are a lot of options there at the start of the season. I thought the likes of Smith Rowe did well at the start, but now I'm not sure if he's that good of an option. Rodgers, I bought in this week, but obviously yet to return. Who knows what will happen with him going forward? You've gone with MINTEH. It's obviously you think he's the best 5.5 million player, right? Over the next couple.
Yeah, over the next couple. Yeah, I mean, I think Semenyo is probably going to be the one. The best, probably 5.5 million midfielder over the course of the season, probably, because he's played 90 minutes in the first 3. He's putting up really good. I mean, I mentioned him last week as well. He was putting up really good stats. He's got an XG of 1.2 and an XA of 1.3 so far, which is like,
wow.
It's insane. It's even better than Eze. But the fixtures in the next three, aren't the best. We've got Chelsea at home, Liverpool away, and then Brentford. And then, sorry, they've got Chelsea at home and Liverpool away next. But then from game week 6, they've got Southampton, Leicester. So that's probably when I'll be looking at him. So he's good, but I just think for the next two, I think it's the Brighton guys, and I think Semenyo, Mitoma are probably the best options. Kind of season long, you're probably looking at. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure on Smith Rowe, to be honest. He's still not kind of convinced me with his minutes. He still
Yeah.
gets off quite early. I guess he's a kind of wait and see for me. But again, I guess Semenyo, Mitoma, and MINTEH would be the top options just now for me.
It's interesting that Semenyo is if I'm going for 7 million midfielders or less, which obviously includes Eze, and we know how far ahead he is. Semenyo is second on that list for predicted points over the next 4.
Yeah. I think it's for both those players, it's the minutes that are kind of boosting up as well, because they just play 90 minutes in every game, and they're both attacking. And you mentioned Rodgers as well. I think Rodgers is still great value at 5.1, and with the fixtures that Villa have got coming up, I think just give him a chance and see what happens.
Let's round things off with the forwards then. A lot of people selling Isak this week. Do you think that just overall in his season so far, and he's one of those players obviously that everyone thought was underpriced. Maybe he still is. It's similar sort of vein to Eze, but he doesn't have like the sort of data that Eze's got at the start of the season. Now there are probably a lot of reasons for that, to be fair. I'm thinking of red cards, especially in that first game. A lot of people are selling him. Do you think he should be sold, or could we keep him?
No, and to be honest, I'm not happy about selling him, but I just had that route of getting Pedro. I just think Pedro is probably better for this game. We can possibly over the next two. I think Pedro should outscore him on paper, but Isaac's still great player, great option, and those next two fixtures, are decent. They're not amazing. Wales haven't been great, Fulham haven't been great, but they are away. But I wouldn't be in a rush to sell Isaac at all.
And the last question is, I just want to ask about Watkins, because some managers out there might still have him. And he's, you can't really. It's a very hard position to be in if you owned him from the start of the season. He's still up at 24% ownership. It's very high. He's got amazing fixtures, but we've now heard that he has that little. He has been carrying an injury. What would you do with him if you've got him?
I think if you've got him, easy keep. But I think if you don't, then it's probably just a wait and see. Because Villa have got Everton at home next, but then they've got Wolves in game week 5, so you can possibly wait until then to bring Watkins in. The early subs I wouldn't say they're concerning, but I think when the manager came out and said it's because of an injury or he's not been fully fit, I think that's better news than he's going to get rotated because Duran's a good player and he's coming in. But Champions League coming up as well for them, so you probably will get reduced minutes regardless. But I just think those fixtures are so good that he's still in consideration for me.
Okay, interesting stuff. Thank you very much, Abdul, as always, for your tips and advice. Aggressive early moves this week.
Yeah.
Were you worried when you made them? Were you thinking, you had to make them or you get priced out, but it's not what you usually do. Were you a bit concerned? I guess you had the wild card in your back pocket.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I was concerned because I had the wild card in my back pocket. So I think that was for me was I've got that bit of kind of safety net, and I think a game week 4 wild card isn't a bad time to use it. So that's why I kind of made the moves, because I think there's a lot more kind of pros to wild card to making those early moves this week.
Okay, thank you very much, mate. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope you liked it. If you did, drop us a comment. How is your team looking for next week? And we will catch you on the next video.